I forgot that I was supposed to do this video first, so we'll cover the rest of the Candace one tomorrow. But okay, um, Ben Thorpe, Grace Thorpe, Glenn Lawrence. Hold up the. Where was it? That's not. Come here, baby. This one. Come on. Come here, baby. Need some help?
Mics and the cameras and everything, get that set up in a second. I'm just making some coffee, but my dad just went on Glenn Lawrence's stream and challenged him to a fair debate after Glenn Lawrence had been talking shit and saying the only reason he has my dad on his panel is to show other people what a bad man looks like, moral F slurring up the wall. So we're going to review that. It's 10 minutes. It just happened 10 minutes ago on Glenn Lawrence's stream. My dad got kicked off, banned from chat, and so did I. So let's go. I'll get all the text stuff set up in a second.
They banned me first, then talk shit.
Oh, did he?
Yeah,
perfect.
Coward.
Well, Yeti, I know you missed it. We'll go over it in just a second. I'm going to send on the Discord everything. We'll get this started.
I thought I'd come and see what the hell's going on.
So you were saying just the lead up to this is you were saying in Glenn Lawrence's
I was just
chat.
saying, I heard you talk some shit about me. I think I should have a chance to respond.
Yeah.
But I heard you also don't want to do drama, so let's not make it drama.
Right.
I got an idea for something, and he sat there, he took the bait and reacted to it. And he said, "What are you talking about? A cage match?" I said, "Yeah, kind of a cage match." His guys obviously all were like, "So what's up? Who's this guy? What's up?" So he had to let me on.
Yep.
And he made sure to say like only 5 minutes,
fucking
right?
Pussy shit.
Pussy ass bitch. But I said, all right, just let me come up. Maybe I got it wrong, whatever. So this is what happened.
It's okay.
Yeah, I just made a fresh coffee. I know, right?
I haven't even had coffee yet. I'm like waiting.
I think you guys have been here for the debate or the conversation with Ava. No, not you, Karen, or not you, Born. I think Karen, you were here.
I saw. Look, right. It was the same. I kind of caught a bit of it. It was all kind of like.
I think for you, all of it is all one big blur.
Yeah. Yeah, it's all the usual shit. Right?
Is it the he said she said crap? Is that basically what we're dealing with here, or is it just he doesn't like the fact that you called him out? Is that?
I didn't call him out or anything. I just was basing everything off of the information that was presented. I said, yeah, I can see that.
So he doesn't like the facts, basically. The facts hurt his feelings.
No, he doesn't like my opinion of what was displayed, and I even said in my statement that, I hold the result. I don't. Actually, I pushed back on a lot of the things that she said, also in my conversation with her. So,
all right. Well, I mean,
but here he is. He's about to come up. All right, remember, 5 minutes. It is 4:53 by 4:58.
Welcome, man. Welcome to the chat.
All right, thanks. Yeah, Glenn, I haven't seen this firsthand, so I'm going to give you a chance. Okay, so did you or did you not on Grid One Motorsports say that the only reason you brought me...
a chance? You're going to give Glenn a chance, are you, on his channel?
Do I get more time when people interrupt?
Let him talk, Karen.
Okay, so I guess what's going on is Glenn was talking smack about Ben, and now he's addressing him. I listened to this. Ben challenges Glenn to a debate. Fight it out. Love it. Debate topic is domestic violence laws. Are they good or bad for society? With Ben taking the negative position, arguing how they are more problematic, if you will. Sorry, I'm like, how many videos have we done? Come here, baby. You're okay. She hates balloons. Okay, don't ask. She's just like, do you want me to pop it? I'll pop it. I'm just gonna skip. Let's see.
And what I'm saying is, it's real easy to kick people out of your home when and then talk shit about them after you do that. But it's a little. I'm saying, let's take it outside.
What's the point? What are we debating? And what do I gain from debating you?
And what's the subject?
Well, one thing you can gain, and I think that's one reason you're on the internet. I have access to a platform, Playing with Fire. He's not really like
Alex is my buddy too. I could give him a call right now.
Okay, so we could set something up.
What do I gain from debate?
Is that not the most like the gayest sort of like 7th grade? Like, he's my friend too. Like, you know what I mean? You weren't trying to flex. You were just trying to say
he actually fell right into it, so he's like,
it's okay.
On the platform.
It's just a balloon.
Okay, I got the mic set up, by the way. So
want me to get rid of
audio
it?
should be better.
You're
You wanna
okay.
go?
Hold on.
Dating you. What do I gain from giving my time to argue with you? What do I gain?
You look like you're a man who can back what he says up, not only with his little ball washers and his little ball washing house.
Yeah. Not to mention, what do I gain from you? He had like 65 in his chat. You went on, he had 100.
Yeah.
So that's why he kept you on for longer than 5 minutes. Because you got clout. You got to realize that. You got clout, and
Yeah, obviously.
everybody wants to.
Saying, like, does climate control just mean that like summer follows spring? Really, guys, it's so fucking lame.
Yeah, it sucks. Yesterday it says Alex likes me more than he likes you. Well, actually, I went to a sleepover last night, so like and you were invited, so like we're closer friends than you guys are. Just saying.
Because it'll be a much bigger platform. You'll have access to a much bigger, like a very different audience. And if you,
I don't think there's much to gain there.
Yeah. Okay. So then you think, so you agree, you're a loser. Because if you,
I just don't think there's anything to gain. I don't think there's anything to gain from debating you, Ben.
Or
you get thousands of views.
How would you not just say what you gain from a debate with anybody, but what he would gain from a debate with you is to say like, okay, I've only ever interacted with this guy on my terms, on my show, but I'll go to a neutral platform.
He's saying I won't gain anything because I'm going to get smoked by you.
Yeah, that might be true.
Well, that's implicitly the only logic.
Yeah, because otherwise.
Oh, my time's so valuable. You sit here every fucking morning for like 7 hours, sometimes 12 hours, talking with douchebags about nothing.
Yeah.
You got time, Glenn.
Yeah.
So you don't think you're going to gain anything because in a neutral platform, you can't control the situation, right?
You can't.
That's just like a guy who says, I don't see why I should take it outside. I'm going to talk shit in here. And if you do something in here, they're going to call the cops on you and you're going to go to jail. Take it outside and I don't have nothing to gain because I'm going to get my fucking ass smacked down on the pavement.
Right.
And it's going to be like, whatever.
Right. It's absolutely true. How does this not make him a total coward? He loses
total
support.
Fucking coward.
He loses support when he entertains. Junk is actually a Glenn Lawrence member. Close to doubled in size when my dad hopped on. So
and you can bring your ball washers,
Andrew's
ball washers. You can get.
Yeah.
I'll take on one of you. I'll take on all 3 of you. I'll take on the whole fucking 20 of you, as long as I get equal time and there's a moderator who lets me speak my piece.
Yeah.
Plus, I'm taking the worst, supposedly laughable position, which is that sometimes a bitch needs to get checked.
Sorry.
Okay. And it's an entertaining debate topic as well.
You don't even have to say
it's not the same fucking thing over and over. No sense.
And if you, other than that, he's a pussy.
I'm just saying based on his audience.
Okay, so I think that clarified what they're debating, and then let's go to, yeah, baby. You okay? What's wrong? Talk to me. You want to go under? Go. There you go, babe. I gotcha. I gotcha, honey buns. Oh, honey bunches of oats. You look like a little babushka. Yeah. You're my sweet baby girl. I love you. Okay. Sorry. So let's go over. I guess they did an entire like Glenn Lawrence debate research. It was their most recent. Let's see what they got. Yes, baby. You okay? What's up? Talk to me. What do you need? Need some help? You need some help? I gotcha. Come on. Is that what you want? What do you want? Want me to move this? What do you need? Yes. You know what? I got an idea. Oh, always my biggest fear. I know what you need. Because okay, hold on. I'm feeling you're gonna unplug this, but. How's that? Good? Ah! Got it? Watch that. Come on. You got it, baby. You got it. That blanket is so heavy. Okay. You okay? Are you calm? Oh, okay. Let's share this screen. Okay. Sorry. Children. You know. Why do I look like Donald Trump right now? Real talk. 7 fucking hours. You're joking. Okay. Not the whole thing, right?
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to.
Hi.
What is the point of what you're doing? My headache has a headache watching you. What is the what? Why?
No, we're calm right now. Oh, look, they got some documents. Okay. Let's see how they structure.
Women beaters.
No.
This is about
Woman
violence.
beaters. Sure. Yeah.
Domestic, meaning in the home violence. And there's all sorts of bullshit that's like, that's or you could say domestic violence laws are good for society. Something like that. It's sometimes when you phrase it negatively and then you have to take the negative, people get confused. A guy like Glenn Lawrence, like his brain might just like flatline. Just.
I see. So then
it's usually better to phrase it positively.
Yeah, I do get what you're saying.
So.
Is it quiet?
Well,
so,
I would just get rid of these laws. I think we have too many laws on paper.
Okay.
It takes up too much paper, too many trees.
I agree with you. That's another argument about laws in general, that there are too many of them.
Oh, come on,
but
stay
that's not
focused.
this argument. I'm saying, granted that there are these laws. Are these laws in particular
helpful?
Now, what Joe Biden and the supporters of this will claim, and they are correct, the number one argument for these laws is, since enacted in 1994, the rate of domestic violence, okay, and this has to do with also like how things are reported and how statistics are kept track of, has decreased dramatically by something like 50%.
Is somebody else on the call?
Okay.
Oh,
now,
yeah.
prima facie, okay, you would say, okay, so this is what's called a cause-effect argument. But a cause-effect argument needs not just, so if you look at a cause and effect argument, Grace, I'll use you as like a sort of pupil here.
Sure.
Okay. Thing A happens. Thing B happens. Okay, after thing A happens.
Yep.
What else do you need? Because that's called a correlation. Okay, so there's a correlation.
Yeah.
But in order to show causality, you need one other thing. Do you know what that would be? Just use common sense here.
You need to show how they're
I'm sorry,
directly,
I did wrong there. Okay.
You need to show how they're directly linked.
And how do you show that?
You show that
You need to explain how A causes B, and also you need to explain how there aren't better or other explanations of how A causes B. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, you just have to basically make a case for A causing B to happen.
Yeah, you can't just say A then B. There's my proof. I mean, prima facie, it would it's not an argument against it.
Yeah,
you got to get rid of this guy.
Yeah,
it's totally antisocial.
Yeah.
Go away.
I kick him.
So, for example, I'll give you. See if you can come up with an example.
Okay, so that's fine. You're stressing me out. Okay. Can we just like brainstorm quickly? If we're doing a topic, domestic violence laws cause more harm than good, or what was it earlier? Domestic violence laws are good for society. Since Ben is in the negative position, that proposition, yeah, he disagrees with it. Okay, so the affirmative, Glenn, who believes that domestic violence laws are good for society. What are 3 really good reasons for that? Just like right off the bat, put it in chat. Okay. Domestic violence laws are good for society because, 1, they protect the more vulnerable group of people, women particularly. More on that later. Okay, number 2. What's another good reason for it? What's another, like, just off the bat? What's a Matt Damon movie called? I don't know, sir. Your video audio is low. Interesting. Okay, hold on. Thank you. Thank you. Hold on. Now it should be better. I knew it felt weird. It felt weird. Is it better now? Good? Okay. What? Okay. Domestic violence laws are good for society. What are 3 arguments that support this? 1, they protect more vulnerable, marginalized group. What's it called when it defaults the perpetrator as male? More on that later. What else is good about them? Protects the victim from having to. How do you guys do those balloons? Am I losing my fucking mind, or are those happening? Thank you. Okay. Yeah, baby. You wanna come up here? Wanna come sit with mama? Okay. 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 It keeps the so I'm just gonna spew some shit. We'll get specific on it. I know in Japan, for instance, a lot of the times women. Yeah? You're loud. What do you need? Hmm? What do you need? A lot of times, women will not report, domestic violence, EPAR, because when the cop shows up, hold on, cop shows up, let's say they get put in jail, charged, whatever, they're in jail. It's like technically there's a word for it. There's no follow-up. So a lot of times I'm putting this really poorly, forgive me, it's really late. There's like no follow-up, something else. Meaning that most times it escalates the violence because they get put in jail for maybe a moment and then there's no follow-up court date. So where do they go? There's no restraining order. Jesus fucking Christ, Tori. Okay. There's no restraining order automatically. This is what America does really well. It's like an added protection to the victim. Okay. So more perpetrators will get prosecuted. Forgive me for the language. I know it's not accurate. Okay, what else? What else? What else makes them good for society? It lowers crime, right? Lowers reoccurrence. I know that, like, in Japan, the stats are wild. It's like, I'm skewing it, but I remember thinking, "Whoa, if you end up calling the cops, technically, that's like a death sentence," which is crazy. There was one specific case where a woman went to the cops didn't believe her. There's a whole 'nother bias to deal with, more on that later. And the man ended up going back to the train station bathroom, got a hold of her and murdered her for going to the cops, like, that day. Something crazy like that. Horrible. What else? What else makes domestic violence laws? It puts control in the it gives control back to the victim. So in order for charges well, hold on. Hold on. Scratch that. Scratch that. A lot of times victims don't want to charge or be the one to go to the cops even to say, "Hey, this man did something to me." So if isn't it automatic? More on that later. But, like, what are the 2 more strong arguments for why domestic violence laws are necessary? Diffuses the situation. Yes, it allows them so you're not like, if you police show up, They automatically assume that woman is victim because there's more instances where that's the case. Ben is going to want to argue for equality. So I'm aware of that. That's going to be in the negative position though. But when they show up, they will automatically be like, you got to stay somewhere else for the night or whatever it is. So you have to separate, which is good because I don't know how many times you've ever been in situations. There's nothing scarier than, you know what? Everything seems to be just fine. And then cop leaves, diffuses, good. What else? I said 3. I don't think the police is as biased as people think. Hard to pick up with extra spurg. Sorry. I've seen abuse towards Japanese women. Phone lines get more calls from the losing team's tribe. Little known fact. Women like this man to jail. Ava says they will not be biased towards the woman. Majority are Republican, and I know that's equal on both sides. Am I missing something? Probably. Okay. Use this situation. There are some sick examples where the perpetrator is a cop. Yeah. True. I don't have legal knowledge, so I don't. False arrests and imprisonment happen. Right, that's for the negative side. What else? I'm trying to think of that really famous, tragic case with Brian Laundrie. And Grace, was that her name? I can't remember. Forgive me. But essentially, couples saw a man beating a woman on the side of the road or in the restaurant, so they called to report it. The police showed up. They separated them during questioning. Grace, I think that was her name. She was crying nonstop and had admitted that she provoked it or something like that, which is common in these situations. I can think of another one off the bat that happened in Florida with that guy on steroids. It terrifies me watching it. But anyways, so it's good to assume that the victim is woman because they will typically blame themselves for the violence. Illinois now, if an allegation, you lose your FOID card. Wow. If you're convicted. If you are branded for life, no ceiling. Okay. But again, why are they good for society? Well, I guess that can be a good thing. Depends how you want to view it. That's actually really, that can be a really good argument. But I don't think the demographic likes that. So I don't know if I would go there. If you were debating maybe like somebody who's like super anti-guns, then yeah, but hold on to it. It might work. Stops further damage. Yeah. I'm thinking of something like it starts a record, but I don't know how to word that. It starts the rap sheet, which is which helps, like, if it reoccurs, which typically they do. I don't know the stat on it, but assuming that a lot of times the victims will drop charges, right? So because a lot of times in like relationships, they end up getting back together, not getting back together, very toxic ones. So, but it starts the rap sheet so that if there's a further victim down the line and maybe they call and there's really nothing to go off of. It can prevent or protect future victims. You can punish or remove from a victim those who cannot be helped or who are still to seek help. You can expand the fuck out of the true. Punish or remove from. No, you're good. Don't worry about it. State can pick up the charges. That's where it gets like really complicated. What about that? What is it called? Why can't I think about this? I literally talked about this on Jubilee. What is it called? It's like the framework that they use now. Jesus. I'm like, Darvo? No, it's not Darvo. Hold on. Like assumed woman, victim. What is? Oh my God, what's it called? I hate being. What is it called? There's like a name for it. Oh my God. Why can't I? Traitor. Domestic. Jesus. It's literally going to fucking bother me. I can't fucking remember. Duluth. Jesus. Love you. Throw the whole bitch away. Okay, the Duluth model. This is a key. This is absolutely key. This is your first argument. You need to know this. Know it backwards, forwards, whatever. And it's essentially saying, well, let's Google it actually. So, since I can't fucking talk. Okay. Thank you for that. What is the Duluth model domestic abuse intervention program? Since the early 1980s, Duluth, a small community in northern Minnesota, has been an innovator of ways to hold batters accountable and keep victims safe. The Duluth model is an ever-evolving. Okay. A community using the Duluth model approach, one, has taken the blame off the victim and placed the accountability for abuse on the offender. One way to word that. Has shared policies and procedures for holding offenders accountable and keeping victims safe across all agencies in the criminal and civil justice systems, from 911 to courts. That's important. Star that. Because before, if I'm not mistaken, it was like a paper trail issue. Kind of like the Japanese thing, but not really. Okay, moving on. Prioritizes the voices and experience of women who experience. Okay, believes that battering is okay, but hold on. Coordinated community response. Written policies guiding each practitioner at each point of intervention that centralize victim safety and offender. Can we just like life before Duluth, like getting too lost in the sauce? Okay. Where's ChatGPT? Hold on. Why is the Duluth model effective? The Duluth model is considered effective in addressing domestic violence because it focuses on changing the power dynamics in abusive relationships and emphasizes accountability. Focus on power and control. 2, victim-centered approach. 3, perpetrator accountability. 4, coordinated community response. 5, educational programs. But I want to know exactly like the cops protocol. That's what I need right now. Okay. How does law enforcement implement the Duluth model step by step? Law enforcement implements the Duluth model through a coordinated community response. Okay, so it's the CCR thing. When law enforcement officers respond to a DV call, their first priority is the immediate safety of the victim. This includes separating the parties involved and conducting a thorough assessment of the situation. On-scene investigation. Officers are trained to look for signs of coercion and control, even if there are no visible injuries. They assess the level of threat, gather evidence such as photos, witness statements, and victim testimony, and document any past patterns of abuse. I believe they will also, this isn't on there, but I believe they will, when they show up, like neighbors are more likely to be like, yeah, I heard screaming. And like, you know, it's like that bystander effect. They think somebody else calls police, but it's like they are more forthcoming about what they hear, which is good because that's also going to be evidence for later. Okay. Mandatory arrest policies, arrest of the perpetrator. In many jurisdictions that follow Duluth model, law enforcement officers are encouraged or required to arrest the perpetrator if they have probable cause to believe that domestic violence has occurred. This removes the abuser from the situation and helps protect the victim from further harm. Arrest based on behavior. Officers are trained to focus on the behavior of the abuser rather than the emotions or actions of the victim to avoid mistakenly arresting the victim in cases where they might be defending themselves or reacting emotionally. Guided by power and control wheel. That's the other thing. Developed by the Duluth model to understand the various forms of abuse that may be present. This tool helps officers identify non-physical forms of violence such as, isolation, intimidation, and economic control. Comprehensive reporting. Officers are trained to write detailed reports, including specific behaviors used by abuser to control the victim. This documentation is crucial for prosecuting the case and ensuring the patterns of, because it's like an invisible crime sometimes, I'm guessing. Okay. Whatever. I think it also allows referral to intervention programs, which is huge. Okay. Huge. That's huge. Enforcement of protective orders. Serving and enforcing orders. Law enforcement plays a crucial role in enforcing restraining or protection orders. Okay. Officers ensure that the abuser complies with court orders, such as no contact provisions, and promptly respond to any violations. Including attending any mandatory batterer intervention programs. So it's also, they monitor compliance. So there's mandatory batterer, like for the perpetrator, intervention programs. Like I know anger management or something is one of them. Where am I? Where am I? Okay, let's keep going.
and try to come up with one in real life where there's A, then there's B, and A does not cause B.
Oh, I heard of one where like, it's like A happens and B is like kids.
And this is called the something.
So this is one way to do it, but it's going to be. I feel like you might just get too lost in the sauce. So we covered arguments for why DV laws are necessary. That Duluth model is going to be like the best one. However, it's also going to be one that's pretty easy to refute. And by refute, I just mean poke holes in it. What could fucking go wrong if cops, when called, assume a woman is the automatic victim and the man is the automatic perpetrator without evidence, like physical evidence, and only going based off of, stuff that's invisible? Hearsay. What about men who are victims? It's completely sexist. And I get it. I'm not saying that it's necessarily bad, but when like a one size fits all, what could go wrong? A lot. And this is a common and still contentious debate that's going on within the community. And I would probably give an example of what could possibly go wrong in an instance where we default, but I can't think of one off the top of my head. Moving on. What's another strong argument for domestic violence laws? Well, you can have what else? Just because it temporarily separates and it does its best to monitor, it's really hard to keep people away. There's like a meme that goes around, and I can't think of it exactly, but it's something along the lines of, you might be texting her good morning, but I just got her to release the 30-day restraining order, something like that, which is wild. What else could go wrong? It could escalate violence. It works against it too. But I'm like thinking it like creates more bias for cops in situations where, like, the more bias we have things in place, the worse it is for other things. And men are victims too. And not only do they already not say anything, but, a lot of times, like, I'll hear men that are like, she literally wouldn't leave the apartment. And like, I can't like hit her. I don't want to hit her. So what do I do? And it's like, you kind of have to, I guess, leave, but that's like your place. They should leave, right? But why can that be bad? I mean, it's just bad. Okay, but what's another good argument? Because not only are you arguing, no offense, you're arguing for a position that you yourself are subjected to. It's going to be really easy for you to come off as the weakest link. You raise your voice, you cut people off. It's going to look like you're mad that you were subjected to them. I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying, what do you do in moments where it's a lesbian couple? Then what? They have the highest rates of domestic violence, right? Granted, it's a smaller pool, like seriously smaller, like pool, right? There's not that many lesbians, so it's like it skews it a bit. But I'm thinking, so what do you do in that instance? What do they do? Do they take it seriously? False reporting. And I know people like to be like, well, how often does false reporting happen? More often than you think. I was shocked when I was originally doing research. I was like, damn. It's like when I hear the discourse on EPAR, I'm like, you're kind of annoying. I get that it can happen, but you're kind of annoying. But when I hear like the domestic violence, oh my God, so many false like situations, or at least it seemed like that. You know, I haven't looked at the data recently, but like what else? What else? Oh, you also, okay, so wait, going back, affirmative is going to have to define domestic violence laws. What good is for society? Is good less harm, you know, keep it simple, whatever. How can Ben, because who do you think's in a better position? Probably Glenn, right? We like don't like violence. It's wrong. So in order to frame it, though, where Glenn would have to work on your terms, which is going to be tricky. Domestic violence laws are good for society. Domestic violence laws are good for women, not for men. What is society? If anybody has any ideas, he's going to want to keep it narrow. As narrow as he can. That's why I like that gender equality thing. One size fits all approach. That's like your main thing. I'm just thinking. My question is, my mama used to call for DV so many times. Yeah, like to get them to go away. Maybe they're like annoying. You know, sometimes men don't fucking leave. They only listen to men. Yeah, recording is good. But it's also a tactic of abusers, especially when there's no context. So don't try to edit something, even if you say some crazy shit. You know, shit happens, but be mindful. What are the boundaries for men? Just saying it's the weakest form a man can take next to being an e-parist. Oh, for sure. Georgia is zero tolerance. You get locked up if they get called out. Oh yeah, there is zero tolerance in some states. That's good. Write that down. Write that down. I always see other men victim shaming. Other men who get abused too. You're not a real man. I'd never let that happen to me. It's crazy. It's crazy. So I believe men do it once they're tired. Yeah, so men don't have boundaries. This is a topic. I think it is going to happen. It's a good thing to think out. Okay, so let's go back to the video and see what they were saying. I mean, I guess cause and effect argument, like for sure. You're in the negative position though. You're the skeptic. So you're going to be the one finding holes in Glenn's arguments. He's going to pull up 50% of blah, blah, blah. Well, that's not a direct correlation. You can't use that. You know what I mean? I mean, you can say that. Like, you have to, more often than not, when people use statistics in these debates, they overstate them in some way, whether it's semantically, whether it's they're just stupid, whatever. It's, you have to, what does that have to do with this argument, though? The topic And what we agreed on is domestic violence laws are good for society. Why are you giving me a stat on something that has nothing to do with this? You know what I mean? I'm giving like the easiest fucking example, super vague. Okay, A happens, B happens, A caused B. For sure. But literally that stuff, you just got to poke holes. It's really easy. How big was the sample size? When was the data found? Anything past 10 years, probably not relevant. Who did you get it from? Something that's really fascinating about these reportings is that a lot of times the stats that you will get, just like Googling, they are really overinflated, not because they don't happen, but they'll frame it like every 90 seconds, somebody is a victim to domestic violence. And if you like really go backwards, it'll be like 1 in 100. I'm giving such a vague example, but you see how you have to be like, okay, what is the study? How many in the sample? Did anybody drop out? It's really easy to like poke holes and shit. Oh, really? You're going to pick IHateMen.com for this? Bullshit. Okay. Shit like that. What else? Since enacted in 1994, rate of domestic violence has decreased dramatically, 50 to 60%. Yeah, because they locking them all up. Just kidding. I don't know what they meant by that, but we'll keep going.
Oh, you know it.
Can we speed it up? Or
Hello, Thorps.
that is fucking
Sorry. Hello.
Okay.
Hi.
Grace,
Grace,
please don't do that.
I know what you're talking. Proctor, something.
Proctor.
I'm
Seems fine,
skipping.
but like a lot of people would say, like, "Oh my God," making that argument is like outrageous, and no one could possibly agree with that. I think it's actually a pretty good argument. But
You need to clarify what exactly you're saying. I mean, are you arguing? So let's say some guy goes to work, does a bad job, gets fired from his job, goes home, and starts just beating his wife to goddamn near death. Is that? Are you okay? You're obviously not okay with that, right?
he does what at work? He like his
Let's
boss.
say he gets fired from his job. He has a bad day. Something happens in his life. He gets fired from his Walmart job, and his mother passes away or something.
This is irrelevant. Okay. Blame them. Like, obviously nobody condones that.
No.
What you're saying is this debate is actually not about.
There's a particular. Well, hold on a minute. There's a particular philosophy.
Okay. I feel like if I had to guess, Glenn is going to bait you into your own case. Be like, you could lead with it. Be like, we're discussing in your introduction. I assert that domestic violence laws are not always good for society. But before I get started, I recognize that this is a sensitive topic and that this is something I also deal with personally. Just because I'm taking the negative position does not absolve me of responsibility and accountability for my own circumstance. Right? Leave it at that. Be like, however, when we say domestic violence laws, what we are talking about, X, blah, 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 are good, whatever, do the definition. The main reasons, top 3 reasons I think that domestic violence laws are bad for society. Number 1, one size fits all approach. What could fucking go wrong? Number 2, it can perpetuate gender stereotypes and make male victims who are already less likely to come forward never come forward. It doesn't account for situations where men, it's not like they're bro and they can hit them, get out of my place, dude. Even that's illegal, but you know what I mean? It's like there's nothing in place for them. So why don't we have another call? Blah, blah, blah. And then also, I can see in my vision, not all situations are like that bad. Ben, stay away from it. Stay away from that. Stay away from emotional appeals. Keep it straight. The less you say, the better. And don't be baited. Right? Is this both Grace and Ben? I don't know.
Okay, so Western society's been around a long, long time. There's like about 4,000 years of recorded history. Only in the 70s and the 80s, and especially boom, they hit it in the 90s. They got what they wanted. There's a particular philosophy embraced and embedded into the legal system, which had never before been in the legal system. It wasn't a revival of something which was in the past. It was entirely new, and it was based on a radical and incoherent philosophy. The bizarre wedding of feminism with the basically the police. It's a very bizarre pairing, because those are two.
I think he's talking about the Duluth model. Stay the fuck away from that word, man. Do not. Literally, like, yeah, let me just fucking put out some trigger words to piss off all the women in the audience. Sick in the head. Okay, no, stay away from that. I don't know if he's just like explaining it to the audience right now.
Which,
I don't know.
Generally speaking, do not have a lot in common, right? When a feminist crazy imagines toxic masculinity, it often looks a lot like a big cop inflicting violence on a black person or a woman or whatever, right? But here, all of a sudden they go, no, actually, we're allies. And that's just a coincidental thing, but like, that's the philosophy is bizarre.
Wait, that's another good argument. Hold on. Not what he said. No offense. I'm thinking to myself, what about in situations, that's a good one, intersectionality. In situations where you have a black woman, black man, harsher sentence. They're all, shit like that. And I'm not saying that it should be, I'm not saying that they should sometimes do the Duluth. That's not what I'm saying. But again, it's just re-emphasizing the same point. So I guess it doesn't really matter, which is what could go wrong. Male victims. Whatever.
Because, this is what I'll get into with Glenn, if I'm allowed to, but I doubt I will. The idea is that like some types of violence are fantastic in order to offset other types of violence in a different sphere, which are horrendous and should never happen. Instead of saying, well, and in the pursuit of a Marxist utopian dream that there will be no more violence in society. So it's like all sorts of craziness going on here. And then it gets baked in. No one really asks the question and as to whether this makes any sense. And then we end up dealing with the absurdities of it, such as Grace having a no contact order. She's an adult. A no contact order placed upon her on her behalf, despite her protestations to the contrary, on behalf of feminism, who treat women like they have dignity and are able to make decisions. And you end up with these absurdities. But if you trace back, where does this absurdity come from? You do find it here. And prior to this, there was a way in which this was handled by the existing laws. And in some cases, it was handled in a lax way. In other cases, it was handled in but I think that we'd be better off going back to those. That basic understanding of things.
Okay.
I would much rather see Ben arguing in the affirmative. He said in the other video, he was like, I'm arguing the harder position. No, you're not. No, you want to argue the harder position? Go in the affirmative. You'll probably make people like you again. Honestly. It's like defend. What are you doing?
It has to do with the nature of the realm. Well, go ahead.
Can I bring this guy back up? Who is this guy backstage?
Hold on, before you do that, I don't know. Before you do that, Sponge, he wanted to say, Glenn is going to jump to extremes and catch you out on hypotheticals. For example, should a man be immune to prosecution for high levels of violence towards his spouse? And if so, where is the line drawn? What level of violence is acceptable?
Right, and I would just say, like, we would use the same standard. There's no need to differentiate spouse as opposed to anyone else.
So what you're saying,
Ben, I know you don't mean that. What?
Thing is like domestic violence laws, like assault and battery laws.
This guy, the prosecutor in this town.
Yeah.
And he works right across the street from here. He told me that if I go like this, he can decide whether to prosecute based on it. That's what he told me, eye to eye. Right? That's what he told me. He said it's up to him.
Because I bet you were probably, it wasn't that big of a deal. It's like, it doesn't matter, right? Prosecutors are, for that, that's crazy. But like, they can.
Whether I can do that or not.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
But
that's crazy.
But he's saying that because we are domestic, and so domestic violence laws give him this extra level of power where like he can.
They actually really don't,
victim.
but in his imagination they do, because actually there's two problems here. One is the actual laws that were passed, and the other is like the regime which has come out.
Prosecutors in general, I just feel like are kind of psycho. I've said it before.
He said it's up to him whether I can do that or not. Okay.
But
that's crazy.
But he's saying that because we are domestic, and so domestic violence laws give him this extra level of power where like he can.
They actually really don't, but in his imagination they do, because actually there's two problems here. One is the actual laws that were passed, and the other is like the regime which has come out of these laws because they're incoherent. There's a kind of like lived kind of ultra fascism that is like actually what goes on, because I've literally had different police officers tell me, and you can see it in the documents that you get. You get a no contact order, and you have no idea what it really means. What is the line? There is no line. It's kept vague on purpose, so that they can interpret it and enforce it however they want to. Why not just say? Like, we have made it like potentially illegal for a man to exist in any circumstance, and we can fucking.
It's vague on purpose, Ben. You know why it's vague. That's not just domestic violence laws. That's a lot of laws. They'll keep it vague on purpose because there's gray area, right?
And kill you if we would destroy your life at any point. That's what it should say, because all law should always be specific. It should be easy to be explained. There should be, so it has a quality of incoherence on every.
But things are unspecific and complex. I mean,
not really.
So
law tends to be like. So, like, for example, with driving, judges often throw out a police officer who says this person was driving recklessly, because that's a subjective judgment.
Oh my God. Don't get me wrong, okay? I love speeding and breaking the law. But there was one time, and this is a weird example, forgive me. I had just gotten my Mercedes, my new one. And I was on a highway. I just moved back from Texas or whatever. And I was on a highway I had been on before because I grew up in Illinois, but I didn't realize that they changed the speed limit. And I had an Audi that was literally, that guy was absolutely driving under the influence while I was on my way to bartend. So believe me, I can definitely tell. Almost like tapped my car. So I sped up on a curve and I got clocked for it. And it was something like, the cop was super cool. He was like, so he showed me a piece of paper and it was like anything over 80 was considered the highest degree, like a felony, something like that. Forgive me. One notch below, it was like between something and 72 miles per hour and then something else. And he was like, so you were 112. We're going to say 72 since you have no offenses. I was like, yeah, any other car I tried to go fucking 40, shit shakes. It was so new. I just didn't even know I was speeding up to term, right? But so we want cops sometimes to have that judgment. It's not always the best. Believe me, what could go wrong? But, if it's your first time, I don't know. You know what I mean? So when you say subjective judgment, I get you, but it sounds like you're trying to defend. Ah, there's a moth.
If a police officer says,
people are not going to want, people like hate you right now, Ben, from what I've gathered. I haven't listened to the gossip, genuinely. But right now, people are like cutting you off from channels, right? So you're probably, are they clout farming? I don't know. But you really want to impress people, go in the affirmative. And then you're bound to stay strictly to the arguments. I don't think you will. Maybe you will.
This person was driving 75 miles an hour in a 55 mile an hour zone.
Oh, no shit.
I obtained that readout with my radar gun, which has been tested.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so they prefer that to, Your Honor, he was driving erratically. They'll usually throw that out. I've been in court and they'll usually go, fucking, the judge will go, I hate that shit because, give me something specific. The law has to do with specific acts that are illegal. It's not, people think the law is a judge saying, I don't like you. It has nothing to do with it. That prosecutor over there can think whatever he wants about me as a person or a father. I don't give a fuck. I shouldn't have to give a fuck.
All right, let's add
suck my fucking dick as far as like what you think, how I should, like my social skills. You can say whatever you want at a party or wherever you want to, but as a prosecutor, your job is simply to enforce the law.
Yes, but I have a question about that. Let's just say like this, right? That is technically, if you didn't want me to do that, technically that's battery. It doesn't have to be domestic violence.
That's a further problem is that, okay, so there are different levels of this.
Yeah, that's why
the
I
laws
wasn't
have been
sure
changed,
about.
even though non-domestic violence laws have been changed to be ridiculous.
It allows the cops to charge them regardless if the person wants to press charges.
So you need a kind of tort reform generally because there's been a kind of ethos within the law. And I've done that in front of police officers. I've gone, are you telling me that this is illegal? And they go, technically, yes.
Yes. If she doesn't want you to. Right.
Well, but I mean, clearly, I don't know. Yeah,
I didn't give you consent. I don't know how you would. Yeah, right. It's technically illegal.
I think they're saying, like, if she goes, officer, can you arrest him for that? I think they would go.
Right. But let's be honest. Okay. I don't like to say this, right? But that's not what happened. There's footage of it. I'm not even doing like the moral shit, but like be very careful before you guys go on a tangent in this way. Unless you want people to hate you, then do it for sure. Let's keep going.
But they perceive it as a kind of quota system.
Yeah.
Arguments against DV laws. 70s and 80s pairing of feminism and police, get rid of that. Marxist concept of society without violence, get rid of that. Unconstitutional protection of victims against their will. What kind of fucked up way of thinking or justification? It's giving narcissist. Like, it's giving Tate. It's giving like unconstitutional protection of victims against their will. Okay, I'm exhausted. Get rid of it. Levels of problematic enforcement. Ben's particular case. State, don't bring that up. You want to win? Don't bring that up. Address it in the beginning. That's it. How these laws are enforced. Police regime. DV laws on paper. General legal attitudes towards violence. I'm just not following the outline, but I suck at outlines.
Yeah.
So.
Like they're incentivized. Remember when the guy crossed out my $1,000 bail and put $10,000?
Yeah.
I said, why did you do that? And he said, this wasn't these guys, it was a judge to satisfy something.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Which is unbelievable because I should have at least said, because I think
you're a danger.
10 times as much of a danger as I thought initially.
Right.
You shouldn't say, well, you gotta satisfy these.
Wait, so he lowered it or made it higher? And what was the distinction?
Right.
And I'm not saying he said that specifically, but like, anyways, it's a cash grab. The idea is that the domestic violence regime is a cash grab for police departments. And that is a feminist critique of.
I want to see Ben argue the affirmative final answer. Can we do the rest of this tomorrow? Do you guys agree with me? Do you think he should do the negative position? I mean, I guess that's what he's technically doing. I want to see him argue the affirmative. Not because I want to see you argue a position that isn't yours, but I want to see if you're going to give the best arguments for the affirmative, then to me, you at least in some way acknowledge the harm that you caused. It's a little bit easier when you can distance yourself from it and say it's a debate, okay? But it's a step. Granted, never mind. I won't go there. A warm greeting. May the sound of your wind take your intellect to a higher level, allowing you to go beyond the human and the possible. Love you. That's gnarly. Higher. Marxism. It should be defined as symptomatic of several. So the reason that I say like get rid of the Marxism is because Glenn's just going to be like, dude, what are you talking about? Stay on topic. It's that easy. And then what? You know? New Mexico. Avery. Hey. Hello. Demon Fox. Dudes speed running for when he goes up on trial one day, taking bets. My lawyer was mad because he said, "Don't be reckless driving, bruh. Drop it to parking tickets. In my religion, we're taught, I know who you are dating and know exactly who are you going to marry." Good night, King TL. I'm gonna get out of here shortly, Josie. Good advice. Well said. Good night and peace. They're equivalent to DUI now. We live in an oligarchy. The two sides don't matter nearly as much as people think. Okay, Torshaa, Dunbar threshold is far more relevant than Duluth. Maybe, actually. Maybe. Where are you from? Chicago. Come for the food. Get shot. Bad joke. Can I share about technological advancements here? Go ahead. Miss me. Pimp! Long time no see. Namaste. Hello. India. Yeah, I'm exhausted. We are on, I feel like, video 3, just trying to catch up. Josie, come on tomorrow. We can do it fresh. So tired. Do you have an Instagram? I have too many thoughts on Ben for a text chat, for sure. Just assume I'm molding silently. I go Ben. Love you. Josie, okay. I'll find you. Okay. That was enough. What do you guys think? Should he argue in the affirmative, in the negative? Can you predict what's going to happen? Put it in the comments below. Should I moderate it? I'd rather watch paint dry. No offense. No offense. Maybe. Okay. Good night, everybody. Like the video, comment, subscribe. Okay, bye.